Iran's nuclear story began in an atmosphere of openness in the 1950s, a stark contrast to the clandestine activities that would follow. It was a time when Iran was viewed as a trusted Western-backed partner in President Eisenhower's Atoms for Peace initiative, a program designed to promote the peaceful use of nuclear technology around the world. As part of this collaboration, the United States and European nations supplied Iran with its very first nuclear reactor, a key piece of infrastructure for research and development. The Shah of Iran, with ambitious plans for his country, envisioned nuclear energy as a cornerstone of Iran's modernization, a source of power and progress for the nation. But the landscape shifted dramatically with the 1979 Islamic Revolution, a watershed moment that irrevocably altered Iran's relationship with the world. The new regime, deeply suspicious of the West and its intentions, viewed the nuclear program with a different lens. Despite the change in leadership, Iran inherited the existing nuclear infrastructure, but the program's direction took a secretive turn, shifting operations underground and out of sight. Iran's leaders, facing regional instability and international pressure, began to see nuclear capability as a vital component for national survival and deterrence. The pursuit of dual-use technology, ostensibly for civilian purposes but with potential military applications, became a clandestine endeavor, shrouded in secrecy. The international community remained largely unaware of the true extent and nature of Iran's nuclear ambitions until the early 2000s. It was then that Iranian dissidents bravely exposed the existence of hidden nuclear sites, blowing the whistle on activities that had been carefully concealed. Natanz and Fordow, fortified, deeply buried underground and exhibiting characteristics that suggested purposes far beyond civilian applications. These revelations sent shockwaves across the globe, triggering widespread alarm and condemnation. The international response included the imposition of intense economic sanctions aimed at curbing Iran's nuclear activities and the deployment of IAEA inspectors to monitor the country's nuclear facilities. Years of intense international diplomacy followed, as the world grappled with the challenge of ensuring that Iran's nuclear program remained exclusively peaceful. The central challenge: how to create a system of verification and oversight that would guarantee Iran's nuclear program stayed peaceful and compliant with international norms, a question that would come to dominate global security discussions and shape international relations for decades to come. In 2015, after years of intense negotiations, diplomacy triumphed, offering a potential path away from nuclear proliferation in the Middle East. This triumph came in the form of the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, or JCPOA, a landmark agreement. Under the terms of the JCPOA, Iran agreed to strict limits, significantly slashing its uranium stockpiles, a key component in nuclear weapons development. They also committed to dismantling centrifuges, the machines used to enrich uranium. Furthermore, Iran agreed to accepting unprecedented inspections by the International Atomic Energy Agency, or IAEA. All of this was in exchange for sanctions relief, offering Iran a chance to reintegrate into the global economy. The deal extended Iran's breakout time, the time it would take to produce enough material for a nuclear weapon, to a year, effectively giving the world crucial time to react and implement diplomatic solutions if Iran moved toward building a bomb. For a brief moment, the threat of a nuclear-armed Iran seemed contained, offering a glimmer of hope for regional stability. The IAEA consistently confirmed Iran's compliance with the agreement, and the region, for a time, exhaled a collective sigh of relief. But in 2018, the US unilaterally withdrew from the JCPOA, reimposing harsh sanctions and effectively shattering the deal's carefully constructed foundation. In response, Iran began gradually breaching the JCPOA's limits, enriching uranium to higher and higher levels, and shrinking its breakout time to a matter of mere days by 2023. The JCPOA's security architecture, once a symbol of hope, collapsed under the weight of renewed tensions, and the crisis returned, more dangerous and unpredictable than before. The hope of a diplomatic solution faded as both sides escalated their actions, pushing the region closer to the brink. As Iran's program accelerated, a shadow war erupted. Cyber attacks, assassinations and airstrikes, mostly attributed to Israel. These strikes damaged facilities but only delayed progress by a year or two at best. Iran's scientists rebuilt, learning to make their program more resilient and secretive. Sabotage drove Iran to hide its activities deeper underground beyond inspectors' reach. The cycle of attack and response poisoned diplomacy, fueling Iranian hardliners who argued that only a nuclear deterrent could ensure survival. Instead of halting the program, sabotage may have pushed Iran closer to the bomb. The world now faces a more secretive, determined Iran, with fewer diplomatic options. For years, Iran's supreme leader's fatwa against nuclear weapons, a religious edict prohibiting their development and use, was cited as a moral barrier, a seemingly insurmountable obstacle rooted in religious conviction. This fatwa was presented as a cornerstone of Iran's peaceful intentions. But recent statements suggest the edict is conditional, a subtle but significant shift in rhetoric. If Iran feels threatened, existentially threatened, it could be revoked, opening the door to nuclear weapon development. This shift eroded trust in Iran's intentions, raising serious questions about the sincerity of their commitment to non-proliferation and the diplomatic process, making any progress towards a resolution increasingly difficult. After new Israeli strikes which further inflamed tensions, talks collapsed. Iran demanded restoration of inspections by the IAEA before negotiations could even begin. The West, equally firm in their position, demanded talks first, creating an intractable dilemma. The result? Deadlock, with both sides entrenched and communication broken, a diplomatic standoff with no clear path forward. The JCPOA is now a hollow shell, and faith in religious or diplomatic restraints has vanished, leaving a dangerous vacuum. With diplomacy stalled and Iran's program advancing at an alarming rate, the world faces a stark choice: accept a nuclear-capable Iran or risk military conflict, a potentially devastating outcome for the region and the world. The mechanisms for peaceful resolution are gone, leaving only dangerous uncertainty. As of June 2025, Iran's nuclear crisis is at its most perilous. With a stockpile of highly enriched uranium and advanced centrifuges, Iran could produce bomb material in under 2 weeks. International oversight has collapsed, inspectors are locked out and the world is flying blind. Fears of a secret weapons program are now mainstream, making future agreements hard to verify. If Iran succeeds, regional rivals may pursue their own nuclear arms, risking a cascade of proliferation. Military strikes have failed to solve the crisis. Only a new, robust agreement can restore security. Without bold diplomacy, the world drifts toward a future where nuclear catastrophe is no longer unthinkable.